Hello and welcome to this Friday bonus episode of Mastering Midlife, How to Thrive when the World Asks the Most of You. I am your host, Mark Silverman. I was just reading an article about a new podcast with Rich Roll and Cal Newport. Cal Newport is the author of a lot of really good books. Deep Work is one of the ones that comes to mind. We're basically focusing on the really truly important is what our goals are. And now he has a new book called Digital Minimalism. And by the way, if you haven't listened to Rich Roll's podcast, he is amazing. He is the master of the long form, deep conversation. But back to Cal Newport, the topic of this podcast that they're having the discussion on is that focus is the new superpower in this day and age where our iPhones know how to get our attention with every beep and every burp, and we have it on our wrists. I don't have an Apple Watch specifically because I know with my ADD, I will be looking at my wrist constantly. The world knows how to distract us. In fact, our attention is probably the hottest commodity in today's market. That's why they spend billions of dollars on that little red dot on your phone to make you press the app to open it to find out what little morsel of dopamine they're going to give to you. So in bookmarking this podcast to listen, because again, I love Cal Newport and I love the idea of deep work. Only tens is basically how do you get to be able to do the deep work. I was thinking about what my conversations always look like. Because one of the reasons we're distracted, one of the reasons we love the phones, not only because they have figured out a way to get us addicted, but because we're craving the addiction. We're craving the distraction. We love to Netflix and chill. We love to have other people's agendas crowd ours out. Why? Because one of the scariest things is being by ourselves and dealing with the quiet and the space. Because once you get rid of the digital addiction, once you put down the phone, once you turn off the messages, once you close your door, you're with yourself. And then what are you going to do? All those thoughts, all those feelings that we're running away from, that the reason we're looking for those dopamine hits come rushing in. And if you haven't spent the time getting your nervous system available for the quiet and the space, if you haven't sat on a cushion, if you haven't sat with your cup of coffee just staring out at the woods outside your window or the people walking by in the city, if you haven't learned to be by yourself, to be with your own thoughts and your own emotions, you can't put down the phone. You can't do digital minimalism because you need the distraction. You will find a way to read the news and get that hit of adrenaline, whether you're angry or happy. We look for it all the time. So the question is, can you breathe? And I advocate breathing from your belly as the first step. Can you wiggle your toes? Can you wiggle your fingers and just be present in the moment just for a second? So you can start to create that space and get your nervous system used to being present. And then what happens when you're present for longer and longer periods of time, when you pause, that's when magic happens. That's when your intuition, your own creativity, you're tapping into whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, source, your higher self. That's when creativity and new ideas and things to work on and new ways to attack old problems start to show up. So it's really important when you look at all these ways to turn off the red dot, which you need because, again, you're fighting an uphill battle of people who are way smarter than you to get your attention. Once you wrestle back your attention, now you want to be able to be with that attention, and then you want to cultivate the fields to plant those seeds to grow so that you can be doing deep work, you can be doing good work, you can be doing the things that you are inspired to do. That's my soapbox for this Friday. Be quiet, get comfortable being quiet, and watch the magic show up. I love you and have a great rest of the day.